Have you ever noticed that people who once valued your presence suddenly begin to ignore you? Friends grow distant, colleagues become indifferent, and loved ones stop responding the way they used to. It can feel confusing, frustrating, even painful. But what if I told you that this experience isn't a curse? It's a lesson. In Stoicism, we are taught that external events, including how others treat us, are beyond our control. The only thing we truly govern is our response. When people start ignoring you, it may not be a reflection of your worth, but rather a shift in their own priorities, emotions, or circumstances. A Stoic does not take such things personally. Instead, they view them with reason, not emotion. The true test is not in demanding explanations or chasing validation, but in mastering your inner world. If someone withdraws, let them. If they stop acknowledging your presence, remain unmoved. Their actions belong to them. Your peace belongs to you. Today we will explore why people ignore you, what it truly means, and how to respond with the unshakable strength of a Stoic. 1. Control what you can. One of the core principles of Stoicism is understanding what lies within our control and what does not. When people suddenly start ignoring you, your first instinct may be to analyze their behavior, question what went wrong, or even attempt to change their attitude toward you. But the truth is, their actions are outside your control. The only thing you have power over is your response. Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, once said, "Some things are up to us and some are not." This simple truth is the foundation of inner peace. When you focus your energy on things beyond your influence, such as how others feel about you, you set yourself up for unnecessary suffering. Instead, redirect that energy toward what is truly within your grasp, your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Many times people ignore others not because of anything they have done, but due to personal reasons: stress, distractions, changing priorities, or their own emotional struggles. It is not your responsibility to fix their internal battles. If you try, you are placing your happiness in their hands, making yourself vulnerable to their every mood shift. A Stoic understands that external validation is fleeting and unreliable. By mastering your mind, you free yourself from the emotional turmoil that comes with seeking explanations from others. Instead of dwelling on why someone is ignoring you, ask yourself, am I allowing this situation to dictate my inner peace? If so, you have handed over control of your emotions to someone else. Reclaim it. Shift your focus inward, practice self-discipline, and remind yourself that no external force should have the power to disturb your tranquility. 2. Detach from validation. In a world where attention and approval are often mistaken for self-worth, it's easy to feel unsettled when people begin to ignore you. The natural reaction is to question yourself. Did I do something wrong? Am I not good enough? But this mindset is a trap, one that Stoicism teaches us to escape. A Stoic understands that seeking validation from others is a losing battle. People's opinions are inconsistent, shaped by their emotions, biases, and personal struggles. If your self-worth is tied to how others treat you, you will always be at their mercy. One day they praise you, and the next they disregard you. Does that mean you have changed? No. It only means their perception has shifted, and their perception is not your reality. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Why should the absence of someone's attention define your value? True confidence comes from within, from knowing that you are enough, regardless of who acknowledges it." When you detach from validation, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. You no longer chase approval or fear rejection. Instead, you stand firm in your self-assurance, unshaken by who chooses to acknowledge you and who does not. 3. Accept impermanence. Nothing in life is permanent, not relationships, not attention, not even the emotions people feel toward you. One of the biggest reasons people struggle when they are ignored is the assumption that things should stay the same. But Stoicism teaches us that change is the natural order of life. Heraclitus famously said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man." This applies to human relationships as well. People evolve, priorities shift, and circumstances change. Someone who once valued your presence may now be caught up in their own journey. This is not a betrayal, it is simply life unfolding as it always does. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." If even life itself is temporary, why cling to the idea that someone's attention will remain constant? When you accept impermanence, you stop resisting change. You no longer take it personally when people drift away, because you understand that everything flows with time. Instead of mourning what was, embrace what is. Let go of expectations, and you will find freedom in the ever-changing nature of life. 4. Respond with equanimity. When people ignore you, your immediate reaction might be frustration, sadness, or even anger. You may feel the urge to confront them, demand answers, or withdraw into self-pity. But a Stoic remains composed. Instead of reacting emotionally, they observe the situation with logic and self-control. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If someone's silence disturbs your peace, it is not their action that causes suffering, it is your interpretation of it. You assign meaning to their behavior, assuming rejection, disrespect, or betrayal, when in reality, it may have nothing to do with you. A Stoic questions these assumptions and refuses to let them dictate their state of mind. By responding with equanimity, you take back power over your emotions. You acknowledge the situation without overanalyzing it, and you refuse to let it shake your confidence. Instead of reacting impulsively, you remain steady, understanding that no external event is worth disturbing your inner peace. A true Stoic does not beg for attention, demand explanations, or harbor resentment. They move forward with strength, treating others with respect, but never at the cost of their own tranquility. 5. Focus on your path. When people ignore you, it's easy to dwell on their absence, wondering why, seeking closure, or trying to regain their attention. But a Stoic does not waste time chasing what is outside their control. Instead, they turn inward and focus on their own path. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Every moment spent worrying about who acknowledges you is a moment taken away from your own growth. The time and energy you invest in seeking validation could be used to improve yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually. Ask yourself, what truly matters? Is it the fleeting attention of others, or the fulfillment of your purpose? When you stop worrying about who is watching, you free yourself to make real progress. Whether it's developing new skills, pursuing personal goals, or deepening your understanding of life, your time is best spent on what elevates you, not what distracts you. People will come and go, but your purpose remains. Redirect your focus, and instead of wondering why they ignored you, let them wonder how you kept moving forward without them. 6. Do not take it personally. When someone suddenly starts ignoring you, the first instinct is often to take it personally. You might wonder, did I do something wrong? Did I upset them? Am I not good enough? But Stoicism teaches us a crucial lesson. Other people's actions are not always about us. In fact, they are often a reflection of their own internal struggles, emotions, and priorities. Epictetus wisely said, when someone is properly grounded in life, they shouldn't have to look outside themselves for approval. This means that your self-worth should not depend on whether someone acknowledges you or not. People ignore others for countless reasons: stress, personal problems, changing interests, or even their own insecurities. It is not always a sign of disrespect or rejection. Sometimes it is simply a phase in their own journey. A Stoic separates their emotions from the situation. Instead of assuming someone's silence is an attack, they step back and analyze the situation objectively. Ask yourself, is their behavior truly about me, or could it be something they are dealing with? Often, when we detach from our emotions, we see that their actions have little to do with us. Taking things personally only leads to unnecessary suffering. When you assume that someone's silence is a judgment of your worth, you place your happiness in their hands. But a Stoic remains indifferent to external approval. They understand that they are not entitled to anyone's attention, nor should they seek validation from others. By refusing to take things personally, you free yourself from emotional turbulence. You learn to accept people's choices without resentment and move forward without being weighed down by unnecessary self-doubt. A Stoic does not chase explanations. They accept what is, control what they can, and let go of what they cannot. 7. Maintain inner peace. One of the greatest tests of inner strength is how you respond when people ignore you. The natural reaction might be frustration, self-doubt, or even resentment. But a Stoic does not allow external events to dictate their internal state. True power lies in maintaining peace, regardless of how others behave. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means that no matter what someone else does, whether they ignore you, reject you, or change toward you, it should not disrupt your emotional balance. Their actions belong to them, but your response belongs to you. If their silence disturbs you, it is not their power over you. It is your attachment to their attention. A Stoic lets go of such attachments and remains unmoved. When someone ignores you, instead of reacting emotionally, observe your thoughts. Are you personalizing their actions? Are you letting their withdrawal create insecurity within you? A Stoic understands that peace is an internal choice, not something dependent on how others treat them. Just as the ocean remains calm beneath the surface despite the storms above, you must cultivate an unshakable foundation of self-assurance. To practice this, focus on mindfulness, self-reflection, and gratitude. Remind yourself that your worth is not determined by who acknowledges you, but by your own actions and character. The moment you master your emotions and detach from the need for external validation, you become untouchable. People may come and go, but your inner peace should remain steady. Do not allow someone's absence to disturb your presence. A Stoic stands firm, not because they are indifferent, but because they have learned the greatest truth. Nothing outside of you should have power over what is within you. 8. Value quality over quantity. In a world that glorifies social status, followers, and constant interaction, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that the more people you have around you, the better. But Stoicism teaches us the opposite. What matters is not how many people acknowledge you, but the depth and sincerity of the relationships you cultivate. Seneca wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." This means choosing quality over quantity, seeking connections that bring wisdom, growth, and mutual respect, rather than surrounding yourself with people who only provide temporary validation. If someone chooses to ignore you, it may be a blessing in disguise. It reveals who truly values you and who is only present for convenience. A Stoic understands that superficial relationships are meaningless. It's better to have a few strong, genuine connections than to waste energy maintaining shallow interactions. When people distance themselves, see it as an opportunity to refine your circle. Ask yourself, who in my life uplifts and challenges me? Who is truly present, even in silence? Instead of chasing attention, Focus on strengthening bonds with those who matter. True relationships withstand silence, change, and time. Those who walk away were never meant to stay, and those who stay do not need to be chased.